Aloha, what's up everybody, and welcome to a segment called Omens. Omens is where we study eschatology, and we take a look at the signs, and we interpret the omens as we see them that lead up to the world coming to a reset point, basically. So, I just want to make sure everything's good on the live stream before we begin. All right, everything looks good. Hopefully everything sounds good. How's everybody doing in the chat today? Right on. I'm glad that so many people are enjoying this particular segment. Now, what is eschatology? The technical definition, it says here, it's a part of theology concerning with the death, judgment, and the final destiny of the soul and of humankind. Some people might interpret that through a religious lens. I'm not super religious. I'm more spiritual, so I still interpret these things through my own spiritual perception, right? So these are my perceptions that I'm going to share with everybody as we take a look at what's happening in the world of science, at least mainstream academics, mainstream science, what they say. We're going to check out some news articles and check this out. Later this week, probably this weekend, we're going to do a Truth in Movies episode on a movie called A Knock at the Cabin. I believe that's what it's called. I just finished it up and wow. I couldn't wait to do this particular episode after doing all of my research and studying while breaking down this movie, A Knock at the Cabin, which is all about the apocalypse. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in this subject, tune in, hit the bell, get notified or whatever, so that you can catch this weekend's live stream. It's probably going to be this weekend, I'm guessing. All right, so without any further ado, let's check out some of the headlines and see what kind of signs and omens that we can look into. First and foremost, we have this Japanese moon landing is uncertain after losing signal from the spacecraft. So check this out. Japan, they sent a lunar lander or something, some sort of spaceship basically up to the moon to try to land it on the moon so that they can, do things on the moon. Now you see this picture right here that they're using? Instantly, I think I'll tell you what I feel about this particular image. It strikes me as being computer generated, basically, okay? Many of us have had plenty of experience with computer graphics and playing video games and what things look like when they're computer generated. And some of us are getting even better at it now that we dabble with using AI and using AI to create art and learning to be able to differentiate what is created by a machine versus what is a true image that's a picture. That's just a picture that it's instantly snapped and taken of something, right? This does not strike me as a true image. This strikes me as something else. So let's check it out. Now, they were live streaming this. Okay, I was watching their live stream, and it was really interesting because they were showing you computer graphics. They were showing you a simulation of how they thought that their moon landing might go, and they're watching, and then all of a sudden the data that they're getting on the computers didn't match what they were watching on the simulation. And so they realized that there was a discrepancy between what was allegedly happening in real life versus what they were seeing on this simulation that the whole rest of the world was watching on their live stream. They were just simulating it, which I was wondering, why would you even do that? You know what I mean? If you're going to the moon and you have all this technology, you can't put like a few hundred cameras, you know what I mean? At least one or two, on this thing so you don't need any CGI. So you don't have to, show people fake computer generated images or anything. And then they cut back and forth between alleged real images and computer generated ones. I don't get that. Does anybody else get that? Do you want to see computer generated images when people are landing on the moon? Or when they're sending spacecraft to land on the moon? I certainly don't. I'd like to see the real thing. You know what I mean? But anyways, this is really interesting. I'm going to see if I could play a little part of this real quick. I'll go ahead and turn off the volume here. But this is what I was watching. I'll go ahead and scooch it over too. Hold on. Let me just take a look at this real quick. All right. So we're going to scooch this over just a bit so we can all see it a little better. Okay, cool. So this is what I was watching earlier. Here's all of the Japanese representatives in, and I don't think this is the government. technically. I think this is like a private Japanese business that's trying to set up shop on the moon, basically. So let me skip around and see what they got going on here. They talked about that image many different times. So here's what they show you. You see that? They show you this right here is just it's just computer generated. It's not real. And everyone's watching it as if it was real. It's totally not real. It's basically watching a video game, right? So this thing's starting to look like it's landing on the moon, but then they are all freaking out because they're having problems. And they realize that this thing did not land on the moon. Which I don't believe that anything can land on the moon anyways, just because of my own perspective of what the moon actually is. But then basically they're like, okay, it didn't really work. We think it might have crashed into the moon. We're not sure what's going on here. It doesn't look like there's any really good images in this particular video. But it says the Japanese company has lost contact with a small robotic spacecraft as it was sending to the moon, a signal it may have crashed into the lunar surface. All right, cool. Well, let me show you something. I want to share something with you. This is the image. This is their image right here. This is the original image, right? So I put this into Photoshop and then I pasted my own little image of the Earth onto this Earth so that I could make out which continents were which. And the Earth is sideways for some reason. I thought that was really interesting, right? So here's the superimposed image. And then what we can do is we can lower the opacity here and you could see it's a perfect match, right? But I just think that's really weird that this is sideways coming from the moon, right? I don't know. A lot of these moon images that they show us are really weird. So the Japanese try to land on the moon. Allegedly, their spacecraft crashed. Not a good sign. Not a good omen. People are trying to blast off and take off and get into the heavens, and they're constantly being shot down. They're constantly being told no by some higher source or by fate or whatever, that we are not to do that. There's boundaries up there. Anyways, I'm pretty skeptical about this image, though. Let me scooch it back over here. Yeah, I'm pretty skeptical about this image. You know what? I'm kind of disappointed in Japan too, right? So NASA already gives images that out there in space of the moon and other things that I'm not super convinced by. But when I see Japan's versions of it, they're even worse. They're like their images look like they're 50 years behind everybody else's images. They look even worse, even more fake. And it's really interesting too, because when I was watching this live stream, there was a guy interviewing one of these Japanese people in their launch room, and he said, wow, that's real? Oh, they actually went to a shot of the lunar surface, allegedly, that this satellite took like a shot while it's roving over the lunar surface. And the guy who was interviewing him said, oh, what? That's real. That's not even CG. Like, why would you even say that it's not CG unless it looks like it's CG? You know what I mean? Like, why? There wouldn't be a need to question if it was real or not, if it actually genuinely looked real, right? All right, moving on to the next one. We got the FAA ground SpaceX's Starship prototypes pending a mishap investigation. So once again, being told no, being told you cannot enter into the heavens, denied access. And then you all saw that Elon Musk's latest Starship blew up on the way to space. We talked about that last time, but that's a big, huge sign. It's a big omen that these spaceships are blowing up. And it doesn't seem to bother anybody. Like a huge spaceship that's a prototype of one that's supposed to take actual humans up to the moon, blows up, and everybody celebrated. Like my mind is just utterly blown at these things. All right, next up we got Mars Hidden Depths. NASA's InSight lander unmasks the red planet's liquid core. Isn't that something? Can't land on the moon, but you can take pictures of the core of a planet that's like 2 million miles away and fly helicopters on it and get crystal clear images, as we're going to see. Here's another one. Asteroid's comet-like tail is not made of dust. Ooh, who cares? I don't think the asteroids are what they say that they are anyway. I don't believe in this dirty snowball theory. I don't believe in them shooting out gases and dust and all that stuff that they say. This particular one is named Phaethon, which is why I wanted to talk about this one. Phaethon was one of the gods of old that wanted to take the reins from Apollo and drive the sun around on the sun chariot. So he was told no, but he did it anyway, and he ended up crashing the sun into the earth, burning the earth. Right? This is history. Some people call it myth, some people call it legend, but those are just PC words for actual real history that has been passed down over time like a giant game of telephone, right? What has happened once is destined and bound to happen again if everything moves according to the laws of cycles and rhythms, right? So if the sun once crashed down to the earth and scorched the earth, it's likely, and it stands to reason, that if everything moves in cycles, it will happen again, which is the sun burning the earth, the sun getting hotter and hotter and hotter and brighter in the sky, and then eventually daylight, just burning the things that it comes across. All right, here's another sign. Here's another omen. China finally opens up about its malfunctioning Mars rover. China Mars rover dormant, and it's likely due to dust. Like they didn't take dust into consideration on a planet that's just a desert. That's just dust. Like they already went to the moon. I think there's a moon dust one in here too. But like they didn't take that into consideration. Dust. Like on this rocky, dusty looking world. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm going to come back to this China Mars rover thing. This Mars, all the stuff that they say is happening on Mars, where they have like this Johnny Five looking robot deal up here on the surface of Mars, and they're doing all of this advanced stuff, allegedly, 2 million miles away, way out there on another planet, remote controlling airplanes and helicopters and rovers and remote control cars and whatever you want to call them. And yet they're having all these problems just with the moon. Does this make sense to anybody? How can that be? You know what I mean? Like it should be that they're having problems with Mars and that the moon has Starbucks on it and McDonald's and drive-thrus and spaceports and you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Interesting. Next up, asteroid the size of 48 eggplants to pass Earth Tuesday. Have you ever come across these types of articles on the internet where they just have the most ridiculous, childlike sounding headlines? I have many times. It's to get your attention, basically. They just have the most weirdest, dumbest thing. Just like many of the thumbnails, they'll put thumbnails, like a lot of YouTubers are doing this, which irritates me. But they put thumbnails that just don't make any sense. They try to just put things out there that don't make sense because they know that people stop scrolling when they see things so that they can figure out what they're looking at or what they're reading. It's just a tactic to try to get your attention on it. NASA issues an alert as asteroid 2023 HH3 rushes towards Earth at a blistering pace. What other pace would it be going at? You know what I mean? As we're not really taught that there's like, you know, non-dangerous, soft, slow-moving asteroids. So you don't need to put at a blistering pace. You know what I mean? They're trying to condition us to think like idiots, in my opinion. Okay, that's why they're patronizing us. They're talking down to us. They speak to us like we are children. And therefore, those who don't revolt or rebel or fight that type of a mentality develop that type of a mentality because we get so used to it. And here's another thing. Asteroid the size of the Eiffel Tower will soar past Earth in a close call this week. Doesn't this happen way too much now? Like there's asteroid warnings and close calls, it seems like every single month. Like this is always on. Something like this has always been featured on all of these Omens segments, and they're all totally different asteroids, right? Oh, there's going to be a comet. There's going to be an asteroid. Oh, they're getting closer. Oh, they're getting closer. And they don't hit or anything. You know what I mean? We didn't have this like 20 years ago. Like it's increased in its frequency, which is a sign, which is an omen. When these things start to increase in their frequency and their duration and all of these anomalies start to become the norm, that's a sign that you're living in interesting times. Hey, I got a donation from Mac711 with the mic. Thank you. All right, so I think that's weird that there's all these, lately, there's been all of these asteroids and comet sightings and stuff. When I was a kid, I saw one comet. That was it. And I was looking for them because I was very much interested in the concept of space as it was taught. Now, this one says a new age. Where is it? Well, this one's a little hard to see, so let me click on it. A new age of superconductivity research. Scientists discover the Goldilocks material, and then they show you this picture of this cube deal that's floating in the middle of this circle that's frozen. Now, the reason I wanted to just mention this is because what it reminded me of is the Arctic Circle. And then how in the Bible, there's a verse that talks about how the earth hangs upon nothing, kind of like how this is hanging upon nothing. Our earth can act as a superconductor, and I'm sure it does. So that's just kind of what that reminded me of. I picked up on that. Let's move on to the next thing. It says that this is our first detailed look at Mars's most mysterious moon. Oh, this is the first detailed look. Let's check it out. We have crap visuals of our moon. Let's see what Mars's moon looks like. Wow, look at that. Does that strike you as real? I mean, really, does that even strike you as, this is supposed, let me see. Let's see if it says it. Deimos, a moon of Mars, is seen in the front of the red planet in a high-resolution image. Ooh, check that out. From the United Arab Emirates Mars mission spacecraft. So yes, this is allegedly a real high-resolution image. It doesn't look high-resolution. It doesn't look like a real image. It doesn't look like a photo or a picture. This looks like a computer made this. As a matter of fact, some of these lines on this moon, this alleged moon, look at this. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom into this little asteroid deal. Nah, I can't. But anyways, look at these right above my shoulder right there. You see that? Look at these straight lines. Fa-pow, there's a corner right there. Fa-pow, there's a corner. Like, and then it's all blended together. Like, this looks CGI. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, what is it? You know what I mean? Am I really supposed to believe that this is an authentic photograph from 2 million miles away? And this is what it looks like? There's something wrong here. There's something very, very wrong. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to go with your gut. Sometimes you have to go with your intuition. 2 million miles away. All right, what's next? China to test 3D printing technology on the moon to build habitats. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully you don't follow Japan's, what Japan just did. They just crash crap into the moon, right? All these people just do whatever they want to do. These businesses and governments, they just shoot whatever they want to up into the sky. And the rest of us have to get driver's license and register your cars every year. You know what I mean? So they're going to allegedly blast off, land on the moon, and they have 3D printers that are all ready and set up to go to the moon. I think you're getting ahead of yourselves. Like, let's see if you can even do it in the first place, if you can even get there, right? I'm leery about that. So I'm even more leery that you're going to, set up little 3D printing shops on the moon, hopefully with grown adults that are running them, if you know what I mean. What else we got? Let's see what else we got here. Another story about black holes. I'm skipping most of those because I find that there are a lot of empty filler when they talk about holes in space, which don't make sense to me, that are like two-dimensional, and there's a front side to the hole, and there's a back side to the hole, and there's like, they're not three-dimensional spheres or anything like they should be. Hey, Penny, who is that? A Penny with a Thought just gave me a $10 donation and says, this is my favorite non-fake news. I super appreciate you. All right, what else we got here? Let's see what else we got. We got studies show sea level rise and accelerating off the coast of North Carolina. Okay. I'm gonna skip that one. Severe solar storm. Oh, this is interesting. A severe solar storm. One moment. A severe solar storm creates dazzling auroras further south. This one says northern lights come south for unusual viewing of aurora borealis. Yeah, very unusual, extremely unusual. This doesn't happen all of the time, which tells us it's an omen. Northern lights captured in Arizona. See for yourself. So way down in Arizona, in the southern desert, the aurora borealis. Look, there's even some red in this one. The red is from way high up in the sky. Severe solar storm slams into the earth and sparks stunning auroras around the world. Listen, they might be beautiful. I mean, they are. I think they're dazzling. They're beautiful. They're majestic. I love how pretty they are, but they are dangerous. Okay? Let's make that very clear. You think they're really pretty and beautiful when they're like way far away. Wait until they start dropping down even more and getting closer and closer, and everything becomes electrified. You know what I mean? There's going to be people who are outside trying to get pictures and probably get shocked or something, and then people who run. and go hide. All right, these things are very beautiful and stuff, but they're signs and they're omens of what is to come. The auroras are creeping down further and further and further as the North Pole, or the geomagnetic North Pole, continues to move. It's on the move when it shouldn't be if everything was normal and natural, but it's moving. And so as that happens, and as we start tilting, and as that plasma that wraps around our world goes into flux, you're going to see the world go into flux, and the world is going to show you. It's going to share it with you. It's not a secret if you just watch. NASA's also looks like they're getting into the 3D printing game out in space. I don't buy it. I'm sure they could, bring those things way high up in the sky, but like I said, I'm of the perspective that you can't get into heaven without some kind of like permission, that there's a boundary between us and the heavens. And, I'm more of like the ancient cosmological views. SpaceX wins approval to add the 5th U.S. rocket launch site. Right on, good job. They're shooting rockets up in the sky like never before. I don't know who said they could do that. I don't know why there's so many restrictions that are imposed upon us when they get to freely do whatever they want, shooting crap up into space, leaving their garbage up there, shooting cars up there, playing asteroids and shooting rocks out into space, trying to move rocks so that they don't hit our planet, or so they can practice, not hitting our planet, when in reality they're just moving it to inevitably run into some other planet or something else, right? We may have just detected an elusive ocean world orbiting a sun-like star. Okay, well, I believe that there's many alternative Earths out there, and I believe that they are probably desert or ocean worlds, just like we go through our cycles of deserts and oceans, or tropical worlds and water worlds, I should say. The desert world is not completely desert. It's just wherever there was ocean, there's going to be a lot of desert because of all of the sand, right? All right, what else we say? More about their James Webb Telescope. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. Check this out. Look at the terminology that they use. James Webb Space Telescope reveals rich chemistry of planet-forming disks. Now check this out. Let's go to this website real quick. I want to do an experiment. Let's type in the word disk. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so look at all the time they use the word disk, right? An artist's conception of a planet-forming disk. Well, listen, if whatever a planet-forming disk is, right, they say that these disks give birth to planets, or planets, little planes of existence, right? Disks of gas, planet-forming disks. There's all kinds of other disk words in here. They're all highlighted and stuff. A disk gas cloud or whatever. Listen, wouldn't it give birth to another disk? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that kind of how it works in nature, that like produces like? Pardon me. So they're trying to get us to believe, according to their story and their models, that these planet-forming disk galaxies or nebulas or whatever they are give birth to little spherical balls instead, when in reality they should be spherical balls as well. But they're an exception to their rule, I guess. All right, next up we got China tests heat to electrical power. Oh, we're going to skip that one. Their space station. Oh, actually, I did look at this. Let's check it out real quick. I want to see this video. So they have a video here. I'm going to show you. This is allegedly their space station, or whatever it is, way up there in outer space, which I think is just right above us, a few miles above us. I guess, I don't know if they have that video. Oh, here it is. Here's a video. Oh, I don't know. Wow. How come he didn't get sucked out? Like, I was kind of hoping they would get sucked out. You know what I mean? Like that huge vacuum of infinite space. Once he opened that door, I thought he was going to get sucked out, but he didn't. Seems to be just fine too. All right, let me see what else they got here. Hold on. Oh, that's interesting. Let's look at that straight line. Hold on, time out. Now check this out. Isn't this weird? I'm going to get rid of myself here just for a second so I can show you this perfectly horizontal line when they're showing you their view of the Earth. Hold on. Let's see. Where's me? There it is. Boom. All right. Now check that out. You see that? That's their view of the Earth. Okay. Now keep that in mind. Let's see if we can find another view. This will be fun. Oh, here's another one that's perfectly, hold on. Let me get rid of myself here. Let me take me off just for a bit. Boom. All right, now check this out. Perfectly straight. Look how straight that looks. Fa-pow. Even if it's not perfectly straight, let's look at comparisons, right? Oh, here's another one upside down. Look at that. Oh my God. This is the most horizontal lines I've ever seen. Now, let's skip forward a bit to a different camera. And look at that. Like, check this out. Where was that other? Okay, here we got this and this. Or let me put the other one up here. Here's another view. Hold on. Time out. Where's that other view? I don't know. They got all kinds of different views here. Here's one. That one's kind of funky. Let's check out another one. Here's this one. Here's this one. And then boom, all of a sudden there's this one. They have a really weird one where like the curvature was so extreme that it looked like an egg. I don't think that's this particular video. I thought it was. Nah, that's why I wish this dude would have got sucked out. God, that would have been so fun. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't find that other video. They did have a video of it where they made it look like it was such an extreme degree. It was such an extreme degree that it looked like an egg up there in the sky, basically. Ken Albert, hey, thanks for your donation, Ken. I super appreciate it. Little super chat sticker. All right, let's move on past the space station deal, and let's go to mysterious tracks spotted in 9 satellite images over Greenland, right? So it says curious tracks crisscross an icy fjord. NASA scientists investigate it. Well, listen, if you're investigating Greenland, right, and you're checking out all these tracks over Greenland and you think that those are so mysterious, how about you de-blur your Google Earth of that continent that is supposed to be like this neutral place, right? How about you just unblur all of Greenland instead of showing us this like one image that seems to be in focus? I'm going to check it out. Let's click on it. So I'm clicking on this. Let's see. Mysterious tracks are spotted over Greenland, blah, 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 blah. So those are the tracks. Here's a part of Greenland. Okay, so this is what they're doing. This is an ancient magician's trick. They want to do something with this hand over here, so they hold this hand out in front of you. That's what this picture is. That's what this whole story is about. I mean, it's easy to see right through when you know how these things work. When you go to the magic show and you know how all the magic tricks work, it's not as mesmerizing. You know what I mean? You'd rather be in the show or doing something else important with your time, because you already know how the trick works. All of this stuff about Greenland is a cover-up. It's garbage. Like, Greenland is a big fat mystery to the entire world because they're doing something up in Greenland, right? It's all blurred out. They have all these different military bases for God knows what reasons up there in Greenland. Now, speaking of Greenland and speaking of military bases up near the Arctic Circle or around the Arctic Circle, right? I've been talking about, I've sort of been hinting at how important the land at the Arctic Circle is. Either the land that is already there, or the mysterious lands that once existed on maps and that are no longer there and that they're hidden, the esoteric lands, right? My research has shown to me that those are the most important. That's the most important place on Earth, or it depends on your perspective, but that's the place of emergence. Right? I found that to be the place of emergence. And it's the place where the world's energy comes from and retreats back into. And we have had like extreme cold and stuff. And now they said that the stratosphere is heating up. The stratosphere is heating up because the sun is heating up. And the sun is up there. Okay, so everywhere the sun goes, it's going to make it way hotter as it starts to heat up. And as that happens, it's going to cause the polar vortex that's directly above the North Pole and the Arctic Circle to go into flux, which in turn is going to give us periods of extreme hot and extreme cold, fluctuating back and forth from one day to the next, basically, which is exactly what we're seeing. I mean, right now we have like an Arctic, I mean, not an Arctic, we have a winter weather storm warning here in Colorado. Right now it's like raining, freezing cold outside. A few days ago it was warm. Today there's this winter advisory and it's supposed to snow a bunch in the next couple of days. So extremes back and forth. And we're going to talk more about that whenever we go through our Truth in Movies this weekend. All right, next up we've got, let's see. Oh, this James Webb Telescope. Shocking. James Webb Telescope suffers a mysterious glitch. I don't really care. You know what I think would be interesting? If you took all of your space telescopes and you zoomed in on things that were nearby instead of millions and billions of miles away. Since you have, since you're able, right, to zoom in that far that you can discover far off galaxies and exoplanets and, moons of other places and all, and you could tell me, what's happening on other worlds and stuff. Point that right back at the Earth. Show me some cool stuff. Point that right back at the moon and show me the moon. You know what I mean? Stop showing me parts of the moon or 60-year-old, alleged images of the moon or whatever. Turn your telescopes around and use them for things that we're interested in, which is our world and our local world. Nobody cares about some exoplanet a fragillion miles away. You know what I mean? You might as well just say once upon a time and just tell us a story, right? Take those satellites, take those telescopes, point them at the moon and show us the moon. I mean, you could point it right at the moon and you could say, oh, check this out. Here's the first ever close-up of the car that's on the moon. Here's the flag right there on the moon, but they're not going to do that. Why do you suppose that is? This one has made me laugh, not because I really think it's funny, because it's just ridiculous. Okay. Mars rover Pet Rock disappears after 439 days. This is what common people call news. This is literally what people talk about when they're getting coffee at their offices at work. A rock that is allegedly stuck inside of the wheel of a Martian rover of a car that's on the moon. I mean, not on the moon. They can't do that. Can't land stuff on the moon. That's ridiculous. Now Mars, oh yeah, Mars is totally feasible. We could talk about that, right? That's kind of how people are. They strike me like that. So there's this pet rock. There's this rock that was stuck inside of this wheel. And check this out. They can't just, however this rock got in there, I don't know. Maybe somebody put it in there. Maybe it fell in there somehow, but it wasn't, it all of a sudden just disappeared, right? They have all this footage from Mars. Okay, I don't know how they get video footage from a place that's 2 million miles away, but they have footage and helicopters and cars and crap on Mars, and they can't show you what happened to this rock, like how it got on there or where it disappeared to or whatever. Here's a theory. What if this rock was like something that people started watching a lot, and so it drew a lot of focus to what they were doing, and they're like, maybe we should get that rock off of there before people start asking too many questions about, like, they're really concerned about this rock. How did it get there? How's it going to get off of there? How did it get off of there? And they don't tell you either, right? They just say, oh, it just disappeared. My theory is this car is on Earth. Okay, it's very simple. This car is on Earth. They're pretending like it's 2 million miles away, and this rock posed some sort of a problem, so they had somebody just take it off, and then they say, oh, wow, it finally just disappeared. Okay, just disappearing rocks now on Mars. I'm sure they're just going to let us all imagine that it just, maybe it went at an angle on a hill and it fell off or whatever. Okay. All right, next up, the Hubble's 33rd year in orbit. Interesting. Well, the number 33, I could just tell you, whenever you see that symbolically, I have found that it represents Mount Meru. I have found that the number 33 represents the middle of our world, as does 90 for 90 degrees, but it represents the middle of our world, specifically the circumference of Mount Meru, which is said to be 33 miles around, right? I think it's miles around. Either that or it's the diameter. I'm pretty sure it's miles around, so it's the circumference of Mount Meru, right? And that is symbolic of survivors. Those who survive go to Mount Meru. Now, not everybody. There's survivors that survive out here, in the rest of the world, but it's just that, it's the conditions are going to be a lot more harsh if you're not living in the Garden of Eden, if you're not living in Hyperborea or beyond the Arctic Circle. Conditions out here are going to be much more harsh, as opposed to the middle. So whenever they talk about the number 33, it's just a little shout out to the other survivors or the families of those survivors from a prior age. SpaceX, hold on, did I get somebody in the chat? Let me see. Oh, I did. Susie Flat. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't see you. Susie says, thanks for being you. Oh, thank you so much. I like the little super chat sticker. And Ken Albert gifted a membership. How awesome. Thanks, Ken. That's awesome. Congratulations, whoever gets it. Next up, we got SpaceX delays their star. Well, that's not surprising, right? I mean, they literally just blew up this huge rocket in the sky and then all clapped and celebrated. Now they're like, well, maybe we should delay this next rocket launch and check everything. It's probably a good idea. A blinking fish reveals clues to how our ancestors evolved from water to land. Now listen, I have a problem with this, okay? My problem is how they use, is that the wrong pronoun? Or is that what that is? Our or something? That's not my ancestor. I don't know who wrote this. Let's find out who wrote this. Hold on. Pennsylvania State University wrote this. Okay, so, hold on, let me go back. A blinking fish reveals clues as to how Pennsylvania State University's ancestors evolved from water to land. Okay, so see, that sounds a bit more honest, doesn't it? Rather than just encompassing all of humanity ever and saying that you all used to be fish frogs. Maybe everybody at Penn State did, but not at my house. All right, let's see. There's something killing off all of the sea urchins. So that's a sign and an omen when you have all this massive dying off. Man, I can't wait to do this Truth in Movies this weekend. Like I thought it was just going to be the exact same movie as A Cabin in the Woods. And it's very similar in many respects, as well as should be, because it's a never-ending story, right? But I really, really liked that movie. I like M. Night Shyamalan, however you say his name. All right, let's continue on. We got, let's see. No. Falcon Heavy delay after space station manifest. Yeah, I'm sure there's all kinds of delays when you blow up your rockets that's supposed to take humans to the moon. I'm sure there's delays. What else we got? There's some sort of supernova, a doomsday and offing supernova, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm not really worried about supernovas. Beer bots. This is crazy. So check this out. Beer bots could speed up the brewing process. And then I'm going to click on this one so you can see the picture. All right, do you see this? Hold on, let me click on this. Okay, they're going to put beer robots in the beer to speed up the fermentation process. They put these things that like float down and then they help to ferment the beer faster, I guess. I would prefer no robots in my beer. I do have a beer sometimes. I would prefer no robots and no nanotech in what I drink or in what I eat. Thank you very much. I could care less if it saves me $1 at the store or whatever. Unfortunately, I feel like most of the world does not share in my sentiment. Let's see how they make these things. Nano, here we go. Hold on, let me see if there's nanotech in here. I'm pretty sure. Nanotech. Yeah, nanotechnology in your beer. What the hell? Let's see where else they got it. The researchers made 2 millimeter wide beer bot capsules by combining active yeast, magnetic iron oxide nanoparticles, and sodium alginate from algae. Fucking hey, I'm not drinking any of this. And dripping the mixture into a ferric chloride solution. Doesn't that sound lovely? Have some beer. Like, no. What the heck? Does it have to poison everything? You know what I mean? Jesus. Another sign, another omen. The world's toxic, man. So we're just starting, because we become toxic in general, okay, collectively, the things we make start becoming toxic. It's time to change. Don't you see that? Don't you see? Okay, we're crossing the threshold. We, collectively, humanity is crossing a point of no return. Okay? You can only screw up the earth so much before it wakes up and shakes you off. And by you, I mean us, okay? Not including me. or many of you out there who have that blue beam remnant or that good energy. However you want to describe it. What else we got? Rare hybrid solar eclipse and Earthrise captured by Moonlander of the... Okay, so here's the same exact picture again in another story where they're saying, check this out. They captured the shadow. Oh, I think this is the one I was trying to show you earlier. So this is the guy. Hold on. This is the guy. Oh, you can't see him. Hold on. Let me take myself down again real quick. Okay. Well, man, how do you see this dude? All right, here's the little dude. See that little dude over here? So he's commenting on this this video game picture that they took, right? What is this? God, it's offensive to my senses. You know what I mean? Like, how's it not offensive to everybody else? So what they're trying to say is, look, there's the shadow. That's during the eclipse and stuff. That's the eclipse of the moon on the earth, way over there from 200,000 miles away. How do you see clouds from 200,000 miles away. You probably wouldn't even be able to see the Earth. Hold on. Time out. Let me just... Now listen. How far is the moon? I forget. All of this stuff is so ridiculously far, so inconceivably far away, that I have stopped caring about how far the academic people say that they are. Because to me, every single one of them is the same distance. It's impossibly far. Okay? How far is the moon? Boom. The moon is 238,900 miles away and getting further. Okay? So I just want to point that out too. What they call the moon, they also say, is going away. It's ditching the Earth. It's leaving. It doesn't want to be a part of what's happening next, apparently. But the moon, they say, is getting further away, which means as time moves forward rather quickly, because that's what it's doing these days, and I'm going to show you articles about that too. I don't know if that's this time or during our Truth in Movies, but we've talked about time speeding up many times, right? And academics agrees. They totally agree, right? They'll tell you that it's minuscule, just like they'll tell you that stuff that happened recently actually happened 3,000 billion jillion years ago. You know what I mean? Their timelines are all messed up. All right, anyways. Where was I going with that? I don't know. How do you see clouds from 200,000 miles away? I mean, the Earth should not be seen. It should be a speck. It should be a little star, if that, right? Like, this thing's so bright and everything. I mean, come on. It's a ball. This, allegedly, at least, this right here, is said to be a ball, right? Look at it, right? It's always different. Is it pear-shaped? No. Is it an oblate spheroid? No. It's a perfect circle, right? But they can't seem to get all of their descriptions correct. They can't be on the same page as one another. Anyways, how do you see clouds from 200,000 miles away? How do you see a crater that is on the moon inversely from 200,000 miles away, plus getting further away all the time, right? Doesn't add up to me personally, all right? What else we got? Epic photos of Manhattan are taken from open door helicopter 3 miles high. Let's check that out real quick because this is of interest to me. Now, this is Manhattan. Do you see that there's a big fat rectangle in the middle of the most populated city? And for in America, one of the most populated cities at least. And for some reason, it's just a park. And it's just like the Rockefellers and all of the money grubbers and the super rich and the elite who developed this particular, city or whatever. They were really concerned about just saving a part of nature. Like, are you serious? That's not what that is. Let's take another look at this, okay? Look at that. That is weird. That looks like it's a reserved spot for something to land on. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you don't build anything there. That's where we will be landing, basically. It's kind of how it seems. But that's abnormal. I mean, given the nature of our world's governments, or especially the United States governments, right, from time to time over the centuries, it's abnormal. Right? Typically, if they stop building on land, especially if it's in a populated area like this, I found that it's not because they care so much about the world and they care so much about nature. Okay? It's because they have alternative plans for that spot. Okay? Usually I have found that it's underground. Whatever their plans include, it's either something involving future plans. For example, there could be something that lands right here, right? It could be a landing spot or a landing strip or something, or that there's something underground and they don't want to be bothered by anything being built on top of it, right? Either reason, I'm not buying that they just cared so much about, preserving a little piece of the original Manhattan Island that they just sectioned off like this. How long is this? 8 miles or something like that? It's huge. I've been here. I walked right through here. I went from one side to the other, kind of like cutting a corner, and went down to the Met. That's the Metropolitan Art Museum. I think, I can't remember. I'm not oriented well, but it's so big. Okay, let me tell you a funny story. So I was retarded. I was stupid, and I was going through Central Park, and I saw a native New Yorker, and I asked him if he could pretend to mug me while my friend takes a picture. he didn't appreciate that, which I don't blame. I was younger and more, stupid back then. But anyways, I have been here. It's gigantic. It's an entire huge reserve in the middle of this hugely populated city with skyscrapers all the way around it. It's a huge anomaly, is what I'm saying. And I don't believe their story, basically, that they're just keeping it fresh for nature. They're just saving a little spot for nature. That's not in their natural ability. That's not proven by their actions over the course of these years that we've seen them and experienced them, right? All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Russian spacewalk to move airlock outside space station postponed. Okay, I don't really care. Like, who cares? I mean, it's interesting, I guess, if you follow that kind of thing. But those people that are all up there spacewalking, they're a few miles right above your head. It's not impressive to me, right? I mean, if I was allowed to, I could easily make, rockets or something like that myself over the course of years if I had the right equipment and, supplies and stuff like that. I could do that. I could shoot something straight up and have it just get stuck up there. Balloons go up there and they get stuck up there too. Actually, I think we're going to talk about balloons in just a bit, those satellite balloons. NASA rocket lab set convergence for tropical cyclones, blah, blah, blah. Researchers use AI to discover a new planet. Okay. Right. So AI is hit or miss right now. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes it says some stuff that sounds about right. And sometimes it says stuff that's clearly not so right. Right. By the way, I just did a sweet video about AI where I was asking it about the dome, right? In ancient cosmologies, they talked about how there was a dome up there in the sky wrapping around our world. And I had a really good conversation with ChatGPT about how it could be possible and how it is definitely feasible for there to be a solid barrier up there in the sky. And at first, ChatGPT didn't want to hear it. It wasn't going to have any of that. But by building a bridge and using reason and patience, finally, it totally admitted, yeah, that's totally possible. It could totally be a solid, a solid barrier between you and space, which was really interesting. So check that one out if you'd like to. Also, we got, what else we got here? 4 people are about to move into an ultra-realistic Mars base here on Earth. So check this out. Let me tell you what this is about. So they have basically somebody's basement in NASA's basement, right? They just sectioned it off and they're going to lock 4 people into this little bunker so that they can pretend like they're on Mars for an entire year. I guess that's how you pretend you're on Mars, is you just lock yourself in the basement for a year and boom, you got Martian experience right there. Now, let me tell you something. It very well may be that this is a Mars simulation, because when those 4 people leave, right, if things work out according to plan, let's just say that we go through an apocalypse in the next year, just hypothetically, right? Let's say we go through an apocalypse. The plasma apocalypse happens. These people are stuck down there pretending like they're on some other world. And then the doors open. They venture out into the world, but it's not the world that they once knew. And they are like, oh my God, they have to figure out what's going on. They really think that they're on another planet, right? If everything's all destroyed by an apocalyptic events and everything looks completely different, the world's terraformed, there's scarring, electrical scarring all over the place, the world's topsy-turvy, the seasons are all messed up and different, everything is completely different. These people might feel like they were in a time machine, don't you think? Right? That they were kept safe from this apocalyptic event. They went in thinking that they were practicing some sort of a simulation. They come out and the simulation is real. They're on Mars, which is our world when it's a desert planet, when it's a tropical planet. So that's pretty interesting. What else? They're finding monsters, these Tully monsters. There's all kinds of different creatures and monsters and dinosaurs and stuff that they're finding lately. They just recently made a meatball from mammoth DNA. I don't know if you heard about that one. Let me bring that up. Mammoth meatball. Let's check it out. Oh my God. This is the Smithsonian Magazine. So check this out. Oh, you can't even see that. What's going on here? That's weird. Oh, there it is. All right, cool. So this is the mammoth meatball that they made. Oh, do you see that? This is a pop-up. Okay, you see that? This happens on every single website and I hate it. I can click off this, and if I go up here, oftentimes if I'm done, they'll have another pop up and it'll say, wait, before you stop reading. It's like, excuse me, can I please have the freedom to just read something the way I would like to read it, or be done reading it whenever I'd like to? Or how about those people who have the audacity to ask me to like contribute to whatever they have going on, or to sign up for whatever it is before I have even sampled their magazines or their newspapers or whatever. They won't let you leave the website. They make it really hard for you to actually just leave the website. Not like that on JayDreamerZ.com. If you go to my website, I don't have any pop-ups. There's not going to be something asking you to accept all of my cookies so that I can track you and hack into computers and all kinds of weird stuff, whatever they use it for. Anyways, back to this meatball, okay? They made a mammoth meatball, right? That's because the DNA is fresh. The DNA is not billions of years old, millions of years old, and I really kind of doubt that it's even as many thousands of years old as some people might speculate. It's fresh. It's being preserved in the ice. I don't think that just because something is in ice that it just lasts forever. It slows down the process or whatever. Oh, who is this? Hold on. Oh, thank you, Ken. Ken says, way to call out the space psyop. Appreciate you. Gen 2 gone. Thank you. I appreciate your little super chat sticker too. Right on. All right, cool. So yeah, it's escalated. It's an escalated form of entropy. Okay, where everything's degrade faster. Things degrade faster and faster and faster as we get closer to the reset point. It's exponential. So they have it wrong when they're radiocarbon dating things and they're saying, oh, this says, according to this, it's millions of years old. When in reality, it's only like a couple thousand years old, if that, right? Somewhere around there. All right, let's get back to the news. What else we got? Something about Alzheimer's. To me, this whole Alzheimer's thing is just a sign and a symbol that there's going to be worldwide amnesia, that people are going to forget. The energy is fluctuating in our world, and our world has the ability to change all of us. I believe. Okay, this is my perception. Okay, I believe that we are not above the world that we live on, that we are not holier than the world, that we're not holier than thou, when it comes to the world or whatever. The world is what we come from. So the world may control us through its own frequencies and energies, right? The Schumann resonance and so on and so forth, right? So when it talks about people getting Alzheimer's and stuff, we have already developed Alzheimer's. Okay, we've already forgotten much of our ancient history that I call ancient oblivion. It's been obliterated. It's been forgotten and struck from the records and just simply forgotten from the collective memory because we've been distracted by other things. We have not committed to remembering the important things in our world, which revolves around survival and experience, right? What else we got? Monkey see, monkey think. That's what this one says. Groundbreaking study reveals... Hold on, let me make this a bit smaller. Or bigger. Nah, smaller? All right. Groundbreaking study reveals primates' ability for complex thoughts. Study says monkeys are much smarter than we thought that they were. Study shows that monkeys are capable of complex deliberation and careful decision-making. What kind of studies were you doing? I could just watch a video of monkeys and I could tell you that they are capable of those things. You know what I mean? How much money did you spend on testing this out? Like, you could have had some normal people just watch a bunch of monkeys or have children watch monkeys and they could have told you this, okay? And let me surprise all of you mainstream academics out there. It's not just monkeys, okay? We have been conditioned to think that we're just these top of the food chain. We're the only independent thinkers. We're the only things that are aware of our own existence. All those other animals and plants and insects and stuff, they're all stupid. They're all dumb. They're all basically a bunch of robots that are not aware of their own existence. They don't have the ability to think. They're just now realizing this about monkeys, and they're scratching the surface. They're like, wow, this new study, right? They have to do a study. Like, yeah, this blows my mind. This new study seems to indicate that monkeys can, like, perform complex thoughts. Like, do you ever watch the Nature Channel or, whatever those channels are that show animals, Animal Planet and all that stuff? Geez, man, you can see that animals, all of them, have intelligence. All of them have spirits. All of them are capable of making different kinds of decisions and complex thoughts. I mean, look at a raven, look at a rat, look at different birds. I mean, there's birds that speak better English than people in England. Like, okay? I mean, there's probably millions of examples about how intelligent animals are and can be. Now, why don't we compare this monkey right here that they did these studies on to like your average human? That would be an interesting study. Okay? Because I would like you to see how humanity is in decline while the animal kingdom is on the rise. Hey, I just got a huge donation. Oh my God. Hold on, let me give a shout out. Droopy was asleep right above my head. Wow, $50, man, thank you. Droopy says, it really seems like we've been lied to about everything since birth. Unlearning is a journey before we can even conceive the truth. Well said. I totally agree. Now, I wouldn't say it's complete lies, right? I think there are lies involved. There's deception, there's manipulation, and I believe that those entities probably have their own reasons. You know, everyone always thinks that they're right in their own eyes instead of being cautious and careful and patient about things and seeing how they go. But yeah, hold on. Let me bring your comment back up here. We've been lied to about everything. Oh yeah, the other thing is just us. There is blame. There can be blame, I suppose, right? To cast onto others, like the elite of the world, the super rich, various government organizations. But I will also say this. I like to take responsibility and accountability from my own faults, right? That's why as truth seekers, we have to do a self-diagnostic first. We have to check ourselves to see, we have to get rid of all of the toxic stuff, all of the crap, right? All of that pre-programmed stuff that can affect our perceptions, that can affect our studies and our research, and can affect our daily lives and how we treat other people, and therefore affect the energy that we put out into the world, which will hurry or slow these apocalyptic events, right? So it's us as well that have allowed this to happen to ourselves by temptation. They offer up something that's tempting. Oftentimes our governments of the world, they offer up something that's temptation in the form of like, hey, look, we can keep you safe, or we can give you this benefit, or we can give you this and that. And the people think that they're being rewarded, but they have initially been deceived from the beginning by thinking that they're accepting some sort of a free gift when it's not, because it has all of this red tape attached to it, right? All right, cool. Thanks again. Droopy was asleep. Also, thank you for being a member. I appreciate you. All right, cool. Let me jump back down here. Let's continue on. Let's see, what else would it say here? Oh, the universe sucks. Let's read that one. Hold on. This says, hold on, let me fix my computer here. All right, this says the universe sucks. I mean, Earth sucks right now, right about these days. Don't get me wrong. It's the greatest time to be alive, okay? Is during the harshest forms of trials and tribulations, because those of you who make it through get to experience what I think, in my perception, is probably the greatest life that a person can have. So I look forward to those things, right? I glory in the trials and tribulations that we are in right now, because I know that they lead to something. They're for a purpose, right? Anyways, the universe sucks. The mysterious great attractor that's pulling us all in, right? That's duping everybody. I don't know. I'm not sure what my feelings are about that. I believe that there's some truth to that. I don't know about the pulling and pushing type deal. I just believe that everything is one. But I just think it's funny to say that the universe sucks. And then they talk about how it's a vacuum initially, and a vacuum sucks, right? But then they say that there's space weather, and there's wind out there, and that there's, cosmic tornadoes and all kinds of stuff where there shouldn't be if there's a vacuum. So it really doesn't suck, right? Why scientists are making fake moon dust? Well, gee, I could tell you why they're making fake moon dust. Can you guess? Can you guess why they might be making fake moon dust here on Earth when they're getting ready to go to the moon? I'm just saying. Let's see what it says. I haven't even read this article yet. Hold on, let me see. Oh, look at them. So careful. So careful with their moon dust, right? Look at this. Look at this dude in his little getup. Like it's the movie Outbreak or something. Oh, another pop-up. Hey, man, I really want to join this website. Look at this. Wow, look at this pop-up. Create a free BBC account right when I was in the middle of trying to actually read what they have here. You know what? This type of stuff is crazy that we allow this, right? I mean, what am I going to do about this? Let's be honest, right? What am I going to do to affect BBC so that they don't put those dumb pop-ups whenever I'm trying to access their information or whatever. Like, they have the right to do that. Don't get me wrong, right? But what am I going to do, right? BBC is not going to listen to me as an individual, right? I would have to have many people convinced to just stop watching BBC. That's the only time that they would actually take action to stop putting those pop-ups and stuff. And let's just be honest, it's probably not going to happen because the world is weak. The world has lost their spines. Okay, they're insects. They're insectoid people now. I feel I want to do a video about people turning into bugs, okay? Because I've seen this come up quite often, especially whenever I'm doing my truth and movie segments, right? This concept of people turning into bugs. Bugs are spineless, okay? We call spineless people cowards, all right? Anyways, I'm just saying. Why do you think they're making fake moon dust when they're about to go to the moon, allegedly? I wonder. What else we got here? Let's see. Gizmodo Monday puzzle. 83% of people got at least one question wrong on this psychology test. Oh my God. I'm not going to look into that just because the psychology of our world is warped. The mental state. This is my perspective. Okay. Everywhere I go, like almost all of the time, there are exceptions and anomalies, and I love those. I love it when I see those in this crazy upside down, wacko, psychotic world that we live in, evidenced by all of the news that we've been going over and all the stuff that you guys see, and especially those things that are more social that I don't really get into here on my channel. The world's nuts. Okay, I'm happy that the world considers me, or at least some of the world does, to be crazy. Because when you live in a crazy world and you're called crazy by that world, it is an indicator that you're actually sane. When you question your sanity, you're like, oh my God, am I going nuts? Why is the world upside down? Why is everything so crazy? Why is it all falling apart? That's good. That's a part of the self-diagnostic. Others don't run that self-diagnostic, so they lose touch with themselves. They become a part of the collective. Let's see, 83% of people got at least one question wrong. Okay, well, I mean, what's right and what's wrong, right? I could go to any college and look at all of their tests, any school or anything, and it's all right and wrong based on the regurgitated garbage and the indoctrination that they're handed by their superiors and the Wizard of Oz, basically. What else we got? Explosion on the sun blasts a coronal mass ejection. Solar storm set to hit the Earth tomorrow. Okay, cool. So what are people doing to get ready for that? Nothing. They're just reading about it. They're like, oh, check that out. There's going to be a solar storm tomorrow. Wow, that's crazy. Oh my God. Like, what if this and what if that? But nobody's preparing. Nobody's exercising. Nobody's, changing their bad habits. I mean, I say nobody, but what I really mean is the nobody are the ones who are doing that. If you understand what nobody means, right? The ancient word Nemo or Nem. Those are the ones who are actually getting ready. Those are the ones who are doing something about it, right? This is a sign. It's an omen. There's explosions happening on the sun. I mean, somebody's going to say, there's always explosions happening on the sun. Somebody's going to say that, right? But listen, okay, there are holes being blown out of the sun. This is the official story. I have my own theories. I have my own ideas. But when the official story is that the sun is blowing chunks, huge, massive chunks out into space and aimed directly at the Earth, allegedly, okay? That gives rise for concern, okay? That's not just like a call to all of the professional photographers. Hey, get ready for the solar storm. You could take awesome pictures of the auroras. Man, you should probably start learning about what these signs, what these harbingers are indicators of. Next up, we've got Mars helicopter. Here's the Mars helicopter again. There's a helicopter on Mars, in case you're just joining us. In case you didn't know. 2 million miles away, there's helicopters. Bzzz, buzzing around, taking pictures of rovers and cars that are on the freaking Mars, right? They don't have those on the moon. The moon is impossible. The moon is a difficult place for the people to take pictures of and land on and put robots on and stuff, but not Mars. Mars is easy. Mars helicopter Ingenuity spots Perseverance rover. So they're flying a drone around. Seriously? Come on. 2 million miles away. Listen, I've had a really good drone. I used to have a really super awesome drone. And I was able to fly it maybe 4 miles, right? 4 miles away. Hold on, we got stuff happening in the chat. Sage just gifted 5 memberships. So if you're in the chat right now and somebody gifts a membership, it will give you the membership at random, just so you know. Actually, you do have to click on it and say, hey, I'll accept memberships if somebody donates a free one. That's how you get them. Wow, Jim Donovan also with the super chat. Hold on, let me give it a shout out. Shout out to Jim Donovan. Man, I don't know what to say except thank you. You didn't say anything in the chat, but I super appreciate you. Droopy was asleep, Sage, and Jim Donovan. Man, thank all of you so much. All right, so let's click on this one, the Mars helicopter. I'm curious. Oh, this is gonna take us to YouTube. Hold on. You know that's dangerous. All right, so I'm gonna skim through this. This is gonna show us various images. These are real pictures of Mars. Okay, there's the car way over there on Mars. Oh, you know what this is? It's a still image that they're moving. That's what it is. Let me get to this one right here. So they have like this, I guess, is another picture. This is video of Mars. Jesus Forever 555. Welcome to my channel. All right, let's get off of Mars. I'm done with Mars. Like, man, Mars is crazy. Yeah, they've got helicopters on Mars. They got cars on Mars. What do they have on the moon? Like parking tickets, for your car being there for too long. The people are shooting cars off into space. I mean, it's just circus. Don't you see that? It's a circus of what they're showing you. All right, let's continue on. Hold on, let me get my chat brought back up here. Wait, somebody said something in the chat. Who was that? Margie Wilson says, that's why the rich were buying silos and building underground bunkers 20 years ago for the next quarantine event. Yeah, well, good luck to them. I don't know if I want to be trapped underground. That does not sound like a fun way to go. Not only that, but check this out. The Earth's going to be shaking a bunch, right? Which is going to cause liquefaction and stuff. And many of those things, especially if they have air already in them, like coffins or bunkers and stuff, if they're not secured, like drilled into bedrock and stuff, they're likely to just float up to the surface. And they're going to be exposed anyways. Harley Campbell. Oh my God, thank you. Hold on, let me read Harley Campbell's comment. Thank you for your efforts. I really enjoyed your content lately. Cheers from Greeley, Colorado. Hey, you're just right down the street, a couple hours away. Right on. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, big shout out to Harley Campbell. Let's move on for just a bit. We're about done here. Let's see what else we got. Oh, a balloon-borne telescope returns the first photos in the search for dark matter. I don't know if the alert music is too loud. I might, you know what? I'm gonna turn that down just a tad real quick. The alert music, because I did notice I don't want it to be too loud here. Alert audio. I'm just gonna turn that down just a skosh. All right, so check this out. Balloon-borne telescope returns first photos in search for dark matter. So they got this balloon. That's a satellite balloon. Balloon-borne telescope returns the first photos. So check this out. This is like a pair of colliding galaxies, right? Use that to check out the moon, please. Like, turn that around. Look, they got a balloon. They just fill up balloons and they shoot them. They send them way up into the atmosphere. And these are like space balloons, right? Donated $50. Oh my God, wait a minute. Time out. What's going on? Why am I so popular today? Why am I so loved with all the money? I love it. Thank you. Oh my God. I mean, thank you. Droopy was asleep again. Wow, it says maybe we're going through levels of consciousness and experiences to educate our soul. I like that. Like a never-ending trip or a sequence of worlds before we graduate. I actually think very similarly to that we experience these various worlds, which are similar to like schools of thought, right? Places for us to work on certain things. Now, that's also exemplified in this video that I did about this Illuminati insider, allegedly, who was a part of the family of higher ups. Great interview. Highly recommend checking it out. It's in my artificial intelligence playlist. But they talk about that. They talk about how there's these various schools of thought that are these different worlds and stuff. It's pretty interesting. All right. So yeah, space balloons, shooting them up there. They're basically satellites and stuff. I think they try to say that there's a difference. Oh, there's a big difference between the balloons that are up there that are holding on to actual physical satellites and the satellites that are just swimming on by. You know what I mean? Like, man, they can't get their stories straight. It blows my mind. What else we got? Vulcan rocket. Okay, I don't want to skip that one. Tiny jets on the sun power the colossal solar wind. Yeah, there's more space weather. There's more space weather references, right? Little jets on the sun with solar wind or whatever. Listen, the sun is making wind because it's in our atmosphere. That's why it makes wind. That's why I talk about space weather and debris and all that stuff, because it's all happening in our space, okay? Not outer space, our space, okay? Right above your head is space, okay? You can get technical and say, no, that's just atmosphere and blah, 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 and it thins out and this and that. No, 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 that's space, okay? Space is just separation between you and the next physical object, okay? Boom, there's spaces right above your head. The sun right above your head is super hot, and it changes the air around it as it moves around. And the hotter it gets, or the colder it is going to have an adverse effect and a direct effect on the winds that follow it and the weather. Massive iceberg discharges during the last ice age had no impact on nearby Greenland. So Greenland is coming up quite a lot in the news, it seems, right? There's some stuff that's going on with Greenland. If you're interested in anomalous, weird government operations and stuff like that, like, for example, Operation High Jump, Fishbowl, Dominic, things like that, right? Go check out Project, what was it called? Iceworm? Let me look it up real quick. I want to make sure it's the right one. Project Iceworm? Was that it? Yeah, Project Iceworm. So this is also in Greenland. Right? Actually, let me show this. Hold on. Let me show this. Now, we did talk about this a couple times, but it's, we should be reminded from time and time again, right? So here's Greenland right above my head. Let me move that a bit. All right, boom. All right, so there's Greenland, right? And they've got these military camps. So basically, the parts of Greenland that you can see on Google Earth are like the outside edges way down here, way on the southern parts of Greenland and stuff. Up here towards the north, as you get closer to the North Pole, it's all blurry, right? This is all a mystery. And they just happen to have Camp Century and these other military camps around the Arctic Circle. And the United States is not the only one, okay? Russia has theirs, underground tunnels and bases and stuff that they've carved out in the permafrost. But check this out, Project Iceworm. Let me scooch this back over. All right, it says Project Iceworm was a top secret. Okay. Time out. Hold on. If it was top secret, why isn't it not still top secret? You know what I mean? Why is it only top secret for a little bit and now you can all know all about it, right? There's so much stuff that it's just mind-boggling to me. Project Iceworm was a top secret United States Army program of the Cold War. Cold War called that for a reason, right? I think we're going to have another Cold War. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think that the next war, because I do believe there's going to be a war. There's always a world war or a type of world war right before these apocalyptic events, right? If you study eschatology, you will see a correlation between a huge, huge war right before that precedes some sort of end times like event or apocalyptic event or a worldwide cataclysm or catastrophe or something, right? So for example, Ragnarok, the ultimate war, the war right before that. In the book of Revelation, it also talks about world wars that happen. Well, what is the ultimate thing to have a world war about? It's always about land, right? It's always about land. It's in the guise of like, oh, we're really concerned about how you're treating your people over there. Not the case, okay? They're really concerned about taking over your people over there, which means they want to take over your land. That's what it's always about. These wars are always for the land. Except for Antarctica, because that's the sky. That's my feeling on it. But anyways, Cold War, which aimed to build a network of mobile nuclear missile launch sites under the Greenland ice sheet. You see that? So they wanted to put nuclear missiles, allegedly, under the Greenland ice sheet. They said that Camp Century was a cover story for that. Right? And they were just saying that, oh, we had this United States Army Camp Century and we built it up there in Greenland so that we could just study, how things work when it's really cold outside. That was their actual real story. Okay. And they made that public and they did all this stuff and it was just a cover story. And they admit it was a cover story. Now, the secondary story that they say, oh, this is really the real story. I know we lied to you the first time and we just gave you a cover story, but here's the real story. And then the rest of the world's like, I knew it. I knew it. Oh man, they're hiding nuclear missiles up there. Are you serious? Come on. Come on. It's also a cover story. Okay. Like, why would you tell people, why would you listen? If the real story was that you're hiding nuclear missiles that you intend on using to shoot at Russia, which is the cover story for Camp Century, okay? why would you ever let that out? Now, like, Russia should look at that and go, oh, hell no. Like, let's handle that. You know what I mean? Like, why would you ever even, like, if you, oh, well, we gave up on it. We're not doing it anymore. You know what I mean? That doesn't sound right. It's a double cover story. Okay. They've got all of these, it's still blurred out. Why is it blurred out on Google Maps if the cover story is exposed and the truth is out there? It's not out there. It's still a cover story. Oh man, where was I? Here we go. All right, let's finish this up. We got, let's see. What's up, Sage? I see you in the chat. Good to see you. All right, what else we got? Using the Hubble, researchers accidentally discover ejected black hole forcing star creation. Right. Why don't you use that Hubble for something a little closer to home once again? Next up, we got Schrodinger's cat. Something about Schrodinger's cat. Fat quantum cats. Physicists record-breaking Schrodinger cat experiment. All right, I'm just going to show this real quick, just in case you're unfamiliar with the concept of Schrodinger's cat, okay? Basically, it's a hypothetical situation where they say, you take a cat. Now listen, this is going to be funny. You take a cat and you put that cat in a box, totally sealed off so you can't see it. And inside of that box, you have a vial of poison and some radioactive material. Now, the question is, or the theory is, that because you can't see inside the box, that the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. I'm gonna simplify this for you. The cat's dead. Okay? You put the cat into a box with some nuclear radioactive material and poison, that cat is dead. It's not alive and dead. The cat is dead. If you told me I put a cat into a box and I poked air holes in it and I also put some cat food and some water, that cat's alive. Okay? I don't understand all this thing about Schrodinger's cat. To me, the cat is dead. Okay? Let's move on. All right. Scientists reconstruct full state of quantum liquid. No. Oh, I kind of want to see Ant-Man and Quantum Mania. Have you guys seen that? I was thinking about doing that one instead of A Knock at the Cabin. But it didn't get super good reviews. And honestly, Ant-Man has always struck me as very cheesy. So my heart hurts to watch the new Ant-Man movie, even though I kind of want to. But let me know if you guys saw that, if you don't mind. Let me know if if you found like it's a good deal or not. Ken gave me a donation too. Thank you. Says, your bluntness on this information is resonating with the people. I love the passion. Thanks, Ken. I super appreciate you. And shout out to Ken and Ken's family out there for always being so supportive. Scientists, let's see, what else we got here? I think we're almost done. Something about the Hubble. Just turn that bad boy around. Take pictures of the moon, please. Also the Earth. You know what I mean? Like when they're orbiting the Earth, I just want to, on a side note, okay? When they're doing this whole orbiting the Earth and like, oh, here we are, we're working on the space station. The Earth is always like that on the screen. It's just a quarter. It's just a little piece of the screen. Sometimes it might take up a little more. But dude, I'm pretty sure if you're out there in space with your eyeballs, you can see the whole deal, right? On my camera phone, I can zoom it back out. Can't you do that? Can't you just zoom it back out and just let us see like all of it and maybe, I don't know, turn it around and stuff or do things? I don't know. It's probably never going to happen. Watch NASA assemble the massive Artemis 2 rocket that will take humans back to the moon. Let's talk about that. Okay. Hold on. I want to talk about that. Who was that? Did somebody just join my channel? Hey, whoever joined, welcome to my channel. I missed it. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get passionate and distracted. All right, so check this out. It says, watch NASA assemble the massive Artemis 2 rocket that will take humans back to the moon. Let's correct that, please. This is not taking humans. Humans implies humanity, okay? And it implies that humans or humanity also went to the moon. And it wasn't. What was it, like allegedly 4 dudes? Okay? I'm starting to not care about the official story so much that I'm starting to forget parts of it. Like, you know what I mean? I could easily research all this stuff and find it once more and remind myself of what these official stories are, but I'm starting to not care. I find it to be humorous, actually. And instead of being insulted, I find it to be humorous that they think that I'm so childlike that I just believe all of this. So anyways, that will take humans back to the moon. Now, check this out. They're not going back to the moon. Okay. If I have people here at my house and I'm like, hey, everybody, I'll be right back. I'm going to the store. That means I'm going to go into the store. I'm going to put my feet onto the ground at the store. That doesn't mean, hey, everyone, I'm just going to go circle around the store and I'll be right back for no reason. So they're not going to the moon. Let's make that perfectly clear. That first time, it's probably going to be a success. If I was to guess, okay? Because they're not actually going to like land on the moon. Here's what I also want to see. When you do go make your little circle, your little drive-by around the moon, since we live in a technologically advanced age, I expect there to be about 100 different little cameras on your little rocket ship that records all of it. That's what I expect. Okay, I don't expect to see what we saw the first time in general, 60 years ago. Okay, I don't expect all that stuff. If they made a phone call to the president from the moon, I'm expecting another one, right? But I'm expecting video, live conferencing. I want to see all the modern technology. Don't make it like that first time, okay? Like, I mean, make it however you want. No matter what, I feel like I'm probably going to get a kick out of it. So make it however you like. But this is what I'm telling you our expectation is, okay? If you're going to make a TV show about people going to the moon or whatever, a movie, make it interesting. Like, put everything you have into it, especially since you're taking all of our money to fund it. All right, anyways, what else we got? A prehistoric predator's last meal reveals an undiscovered ancient species. All right, so this is fossilized puke. That's nice. No comment. I'm so sorry about coughing. That's my bad. What else we got? SpaceX Falcon Heavy flies again, and the first Arab spacewalk. Okay, we'll skip that. Mighty corrugated metal roof, blah, blah, blah. Unlocking the secrets of aging. I mean, it's everything's deteriorating, right? It's entropy. And that will be reversed whenever we go into this next flip, into this next reset, into this next transitional period, right? Instead of people dying quickly, they're going to live for a very long time. A general theory to realize bilayer stacking something something. Astronomers explore multiple stellar populations. And last but not least, this bottom one, you can't really see it. Hold on, man. Now you can see it. Incredibly rare fossil chilies revealed that they emerged 50 million years ago. Do you have any idea how freaking much time that is? Do you have any idea how far away 2 million miles is? Okay. Do you have any idea how long ago 50 million years would be? And given any rate of entropy, this should not even exist. Okay? Things over that much time, I expect them to be other things. I expect them to be something different. Okay? I don't think that something can last 50 million years just because it's a rock. I don't know. I'm not sure, but that's it. That's it. So let me jump in the chat, see if anybody's got any comments or questions. Wow, I had a lot of support today, which makes me feel very good. Because, you know, as another human, as another guy, as a single dad and stuff, I get to support my family and myself and keep the lights on and the bills paid and stuff like that and gas in the car. So thank you for all of that. On the other hand, it also really inspires me. Like when I get so much support with all of the members and donations and people checking out my website and people checking out my book and stuff, it encourages me to press on. It really does. So, man, like you don't even know, man. Like, or maybe some of you do, okay? But doing what some of us do, trying to be trailblazers and, you know, really, really fight for the truth and really, I don't know how to describe it, but it can be overbearing quite often when all you do is just study and you're into the truth and stuff, and it can be difficult. It can be a little overbearing, you know what I mean? So, you know, sometimes some of us have become depressed or sad. I have, okay? So I'm speaking from personal experience. Develop anxiety and stuff, and we're going to talk about some more of this stuff this weekend when we break down the next Truth in Movies. Come check it out. Please come check it out. Join me. Like, I want your company. Okay. I'm not trying to ask for 1 million views or anything. I would really, really like a lot of people to be there. Because it's going to be a fun presentation. It's going to be really interesting. And that'll be a knock at the cabin. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. I super appreciate you. I hope you had a great time. Leave me some comments in the comments section and leave some stuff in there for everybody else too. Because when you leave comments in the comments section, you're adding to our library. You're putting a book on the shelf. You know what I mean? You can influence others through your comments, just like the chat. Everybody in here in the chat, we're resonating off of each other, right? So let's continue doing that. Until next time, I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye.